Hey everybody, welcome back to another stream. I am Professor Roadblock, and we already have the chat hopping in here tonight. Dorman shouted first, "This is the most exciting educational content I've seen all day." You're darn right it is. So we'll go ahead and I'll get things ready on the background here,
All your
and then
bays
I will
belong to me.
and then I will get going here. Let me switch over to the live screen so that music stops playing here. How's it going, everybody? I'm gonna get the messenger up in the background here, since that's the game that we are playing tonight. Before we get into that, though, I just wanted to shout out real quick. A ton of people watched the last stream that I did, where I ended up kind of in the moment deciding to analyze the Mario Kart Championship. I got a lot of positive feedback from people liking that content, and that included some of you guys. And I also actually shared it with some of my coworkers at the college, and I got a lot of positive buzz about how they actually sat through and watched most of the video and found it really interesting to have the game broken down. So I'm going to be looking for ways where I can continue to break down and analyze either some of the matches that my teams are in, or maybe other matches that are being played, for maybe some games that I feel like I actually know enough to talk about. So that may be some content that works its way in regularly, because there was a lot of positive buzz from that, which was awesome. So thank you guys for sticking along with me for that. And it'll be a while before we do anything, because we're about to go on holiday break, so there's no new content for us to go and break down. But that's been really awesome. We have had some local buzz too. The newspaper wrote an article about it. We have a news station coming on Friday to interview our racer and talk about the championships. That's been really cool. So still kind of hard to believe that happened, and really, really happy for Amber and for the team. So before I get into playing the messenger here, I just wanted to once again plug what we're doing this month here. And so all throughout the month of December, I am raising money for Mental Health America. We are currently sitting at 46 out of the initial $100 goal. Throughout the night, I'll be popping this link in the chat. If you have the means to donate, $1, $5, anything really does make a difference here, for such a great cause, helping people that need it, especially during this time of year, accessing those resources, talking to people, working through those kinds of things. I did donate some based on my Game Awards predictions, and then we had a subscriber who matched, which was fantastic. But if anybody has even just a little bit they can pitch in towards that goal. What we're going to do if we hit $100 is I'm going to do a special stream where I'm playing crappy holiday games, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put on my game analysis hat and talk about like the design and what the developers were thinking, and try to BS my way through those crappy games actually being designed with any sort of intention or competence. And so we'll go through and do that here. But without further ado, let me get the messenger popped up and ready. We started playing this game last week as part of an analysis on games as sensation for game studies. Hey CJ, how's it going? And so we're going to continue that. I ended up in the like one or two streams that we played, I ended up showing off exactly what I wanted to show off, which was this really cool way that the game, I don't have any audio. Give me just a moment. Why don't I have any audio from the game? There we go. There's Crab Rave. I don't need any audio. I got Crab Rave. What's your class consist of? Yeah, I was going to talk about that as soon as I loaded in here. So let me go ahead and hop back in. So the class that I'm talking about actually just finished up this week. It's called Introduction to Game Studies. It's the only class that I teach out at MCC that is not explicitly esports related. It is more on like game design, game theory, and stuff like that. Now the nice thing about that class is I turn around and teach it again in the spring. I'm trying my best to offer it almost every single semester, because it's an elective that any students out at college can take. So if you have an open spot in your schedule and you're an MCC student and you want to take a game class about video games, there you go. I'll be teaching it next semester at 1 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think. It might be 11. I don't know. Yeah, CJ, if you have an open spot and you need an elective, hop in, man. Be a blast. I teach that class in person, and I think I also teach it online, so I have two sections. So, okay, let me recap what we're doing here, and then I'll talk about that class in more detail. So, we went through the entire game world. in the retro 8-bit style. If you didn't see the end of the last stream when I came back and played, there was this really cool story moment where we actually met up in the village where we started and handed the scroll to the next messenger and kind of completed a time loop until that messenger died. So now we are the messenger again, and what we are trying to do is go around and collect these music notes from all the levels that we've played before. And so we can now open the map and we get these cryptic hints from the prophet about where to go. So he says, under the shroud of night, crimson trees shelter a magic note ready to be collected. And so crimson trees is autumn hills, but it says we're looking for an area where it says under the shroud of night. And I think, if I'm right, we need to go back to the beginning of the game map, because when you start in the village and like the dock area, I think when you start the game it's sunset. But I think now in this zone it's nighttime, and so I'm going to go back there and check it out and see if that's where the first music note is at. This game has essentially flipped from being a straight up complete the stage, ooh, not a good start, complete the stage platformer to what we would call a Metroidvania. So a lot of, oh shoot, not a good start. A lot of people who game regularly know what Metroidvania means. It's a combination of the old game Metroid and Castlevania. Jeez Louise. And what we typically see in Metroidvanias is it's games where you progress and unlock abilities as you go, usually from beating bosses or hitting certain milestones. And then you are able to use those new combat and traversal tools to go back and find things or progress in earlier levels. And so now that we've gone through the whole game, we have tools like the grapple or the rope dart. We have tools like the wingsuit to glide and things like that. And so we're going to be able to use those to access parts of the game that we couldn't the first time that we went through these levels. And that's going to be what helps us find the music box. And you'll notice in the background, you can see the moon. So it is nighttime. So I'm just going to assume that we need to go back to the start of the stage. Let's see. Finals are done. I'm happy I did great on them. Thank God. Yeah, dude. I'm glad. Are you done with all your finals? The way that it works in my class is I have students turn in final projects, but I don't have a standard final. So the entire semester, students are doing things like making presentations or creating projects, things like that. But I don't do any typical paper pencil tests. At least I haven't yet. Maybe some classes that come up later where that makes sense, but it hasn't made sense for the ones I taught this fall. That being said, like the project they do at the end is a pretty big one. So for this class, students had to make a game design document, and basically for that one, what they did was they pretended to create their own video game. Now, it's not actually a coding or programming class. I don't have the skills or the equipment to teach people how to actually code and make a game, but it's all theoretical. So they're using information that they learned from the games that we studied this semester to come up with a plan for their own video game. And they have to talk about things like the setting and the story and the mechanics of that game. They have to refine it throughout the semester. And then the last step is they share the document with classmates, get feedback, and then talk about how they would implement that feedback into their game. And so that's been a lot of fun. The idea is that as we learn about things like Games' Sensation or Games' Challenge or whatever, they're taking lessons from the games and themes we studied and incorporating them into their work. That's at least what they need to do if they want to do well. So I'm going to go through here because I think these portals will send us back in time. Again, the whole reason we chose this one to pick up on the game studies thing is because this is a perfect example of Games' Sensation. And this right here is a great example of that. Right? Sensation is about visual and audio identity and creating a game with specific intent when it comes to its visuals or its sound. And this game, using both visuals and sound to signify that you're going backward or forward in time, is huge. And the way they organically do it, right? There's no hitch, there's no stop in my movement. The game world just whoop, flips in and out, and the music organically changes. It's awesome. And again, the music's just so good. And in a 16-week course, we did not cover all 8 of the. Ooh, let's do this. We did not cover all 8 of the themes that are in the framework that I've been using to guide the class. We went through, I believe it was 5. Ooh, this is gonna be rough. Yep, there it is. So we started off by talking about games as. Yep, what was the first one? I don't remember. We did games as narrative. We did games as challenge. We did games as sensation. I'm completely blanking. What game did I choose for the first one? Oh, games as fantasy. And then we also did games as discovery. And so that means there are 3 that were left on the table. And that was just because in 16 weeks I didn't have enough time to give examples on all those. Because a huge part of my class, what's really important, is I talk at them for a short while about the theme or the game, right? The aesthetic is the term we use, which I don't really like that term, and I'll get on that in a second. But that's the language I've been using because it's part of the language of the course. But the most important part is that they're then getting hands-on time with a game or games where they get to implement that or really see that theme in action. So, and I feel like one 50-minute class is not enough time for them to dig into the games. So I give them usually 3 or 4 class periods, which goes to about 3.5 hours of playtime to really dig into things. And some of them choose to then keep playing the games on their own outside of that. But the themes we did not cover in class were games as fellowship, games as expression, and games as submission. And so I can talk about those briefly here. Not that they weren't worthy of talking about, but they're a little bit more abstract. They're a little bit harder to talk about than some of the other ones. Although, in the world we live in now, things like games as fellowship are actually hugely important. What's some things you guys are working on getting added to classes or future classes? Oh man, dude, I have been working so much on the curriculum for these classes because when they hired me on, they only had a couple of the classes figured out. And so my job was, okay, how do we turn this into a 2-year degree? And I've got that work mostly done. It's just now going through the process of going through final approval and all that. And that process takes forever. And people catch mistakes that I made or ask good questions. And I'm still learning how college works. So they're like, well, why did you do this and not this? It's all good stuff. It just takes a long time. But the classes I've got on the table that are getting added, one's called Esports Broadcasting and Streaming. So it's an entire course for students who want to learn how to stream and shoutcast. So rather than just like learning by doing, they're actually going to study professional esports broadcasts and techniques that streamers use. I was wrong. I thought I had to go back here to find the music note, and I don't see it. The music's awesome, though. So that's one of them. Another one is esports strategy development. That's one that I'm most excited about. That's like the most esportsy of all the classes. So in that one, which will be getting taught next year, students are choosing a specific game title, and they're basically coming up with an entire coaching plan for that game. So they'd be like, oh, I really like playing League of Legends. I'm going to come up with like I'm going to talk about the meta and develop strategies and formations and all this stuff for teaching a team how to play League of Legends. That's cool. When I went back in time, all my ninja buddies are here. What does this guy have to say? Our champion returns. How is adventure treating you? A little bit harder than I thought, but the music is amazing. You left too soon. I should have taught you the power of True Sight. True Sight? It's a technique seldom taught to young students, unless the mind can be expanded. How can I expand my mind? A warm cup of astral tea will do that. Fortunately, we ran out of tea leaves a few years ago. All we have is a single seed, but fully growing it would take centuries. Give me the seed, I'll see what I can do. I was hoping you'd say that. Okay, I have to go find a flower bed to plant this seed, and then we'll go back to the future. I think it's up here. But esports strategy development is the one I'm most excited about, and it's going to give students a lot of freedom. It's also going to be good for coaches that are out in the field coaching and learning these games, because they'll be able to choose, a specific game they're hosting in their programs and their leagues, and and dive right into it, right? So I'm going to provide some resources and strategies and tools for learning your games, and that'll be really fun. I'm looking forward to that one. Next year we also have 2 that are like what's called esports planning and event management. So once in the fall and once in the spring, they'll have to work as a team to plan and execute a successful esports tournament on campus or some sort of esports event. Let's see, or like speedruns and stuff. Let's see. So I could do like Apex and how to main Valk. Yeah, but it would honestly, like, you could talk about that as part of it. Where the hell can I go plant that seed? That would be part of it, but it would be more like doing like a 16-week study on how to play that game in detail. So I mean, you could spend like part of it talking about specific characters and how they play and how they fit within the meta and whatever. That would be fine as like one of the things that you do for sure. Speedruns, not really, since those don't really fall in line with esports. In one of my classes, we did talk about like other types of video game competition. Because we talked about speedruns and challenge runs and how, while they don't fit the traditional model of esports, they still do require a lot of the same skill set. And so we had a whole conversation about that in competitive gaming, and most of the students were on board with the idea that speedruns and challenge runs are valid and just as exciting in their own different ways as somebody who's actually competing in esports. And then like the games that you would choose for that, right? They have to be ones that have like competitive scenes. So I mean, if there's a competitive scene out there for Ark, maybe, but Ark wouldn't be one that would classify as a traditional esport, right? This would be something like, you know, you could do Apex, you could do Fortnite, you could do a fighting game, you could do Siege, you could do Valorant, you could do League of Legends, you could do Rocket League. Any of those ones that have those major competitive scenes with like tournaments and titles and leagues and all that stuff. Overwatch, Smash Brothers, stuff like that. I have no idea where to go, people. And the other problem is I'm trying to walk and chew gum at the same time. Under the shroud of night, crimson trees shelter a magic note ready to be collected. Let's go back to the right, I guess. Here, let's go in here, actually. I have an idea. This guy said he'd sell us better clues at the shop. Having trouble understanding the prophecy. Maybe I can help. What did the prophet say? Under the shroud of night, crimson trees shelter a magic note ready to be collected. Ah, can you leave this guy? For 300 time shards, I can use the scrying orb and point it on your map. Yeah, fine. Okay, well, I'm actually really close to it. So, it looks like it's actually... Oh, piss. Are you serious? Watch. It's down here. I think. Nope, I gotta keep going. Just had a 30-second... Oh, really? I didn't... Did you just, like, rejoin the channel? Because I didn't run an ad break. What I said was... Whoa. What I said was you'd have to choose a game that has, like, a traditional esports scene, and I don't know that Ark necessarily has one. You'd be looking at something like Apex or Fortnite or Call of Duty or League of Legends or Rocket League, Smash Brothers. You know, anything that's got, like, organized league play... professional scene, that kind of stuff. If it's mostly like, oh shoot, I'm gonna die. If it's mostly stuff that's like, you know, like if it doesn't have an organized scene, and maybe Ark has one that I don't know about, but if it does, I'm completely unfamiliar with it. But it's looking for one that they actually do. So like, let me put it in perspective. Like, since a lot of my students are Iowa students, or some of them are already, or will be current Iowa esports coaches. Like, the Iowa Esports League runs games like Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch, League of Legends. They do Smite, actually. If I didn't say Rocket League, they do Rocket League. And a couple of others, right? So those will kind of be the games that I anticipate seeing a lot of, because those are ones where there's like a vested scene and an interest in that they could actually take and put into their work that they're already doing, right? Because the whole point of my degree path, right, is that I'm trying to teach classes and provide students with the skills and knowledge that will help them go do esports as a full-time thing, not as a player, but as like a coach or a broadcaster or an event operator, or whatever they might be interested in. And so they need to be working with games that have a scene they could go get into. Oh shit, I looked over at chat. Madden would actually work, yeah. Because in terms of esports, the traditional like sports titles, Madden, NBA, FIFA, they're a little bit smaller than compared to something like an Overwatch or Call of Duty or whatever. But there's still plenty of people that play those, and I'm not going to disparage or say like that they're not esports, because they totally are. If you look at somebody who plays Madden or NBA at a high level, it's something amazing to watch. We actually have an area local. He's not from Marshalltown, I don't think, but he was an East Marshall student who graduated a couple of years back, and he's like a national or world champion in NBA. His name is Tyler, and I'm actually going to invite him in to speak to one of my classes, but I've been so damn busy that I haven't had a good time that would work for him to come in. So that's been cool. Let's see. One of the things we actually talked about in class, this is a good stepping off point since we're talking about the sports titles. We talked about in competitive gaming how like the sports games are excellent as simulations, right? Because if you guys play NBA or 2K or FIFA or any of that, like they always have you create a character or a team, and then they have you play through the franchise mode or the league mode. Hey, there's the note. And then like those games, as the years have gone on, they're all about like pumping realistic graphics. The camera in perspective is all about like mimicking what it looks like to watch an NBA game or an NFL game. Although, I mean, NFL games, you're usually seeing a profile view, and you play Madden from behind the team. So I guess that's a little different. But one of the things we talked about, hold on a second, I don't want to like not read this and have it be a clue for the next part. I don't want to do the streamer thing of like not reading the clue and then being like, where do I go? Let's see. Okay, I don't think that was. But the reason that they struggle as esports is because they lean too far into being simulations rather than doing like leaning into being a video game. So we have a book that we use in class that makes that exact argument, where they're like, look, NBA 2K is thriving and healthy. They get about 40,000 spectators for every single match, and of course that goes up with championships and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at like viewership and engagement with something like NBA 2K compared to something like Overwatch or Smash, it's not even close. There's way more people that are watching those games, and it's because those are like video games, right? Like we talked about like how old school sports games really leaned into being video games, right? So like I'm gonna rattle off some games here that some of you guys might recognize, and you guys can then list some other ones too. But things like the old school Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, SSX, NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, NBA or NFL Street, even like the Mario sports games, right? Like they're all on the surface a sports game, but they're doing ridiculous stuff that kind of gets away from the traditional sport a little bit. And so the author's making the argument that like if you're gonna play a sport as a video game, then think about what unique, cool things you can do because you're a video game, right? Rather than trying to straight up simulate basketball. So that's kind of tricky though, right? Because if NBA says, all right, sure, we'll lean into that, and they go away from like realistic basketball, then they're going to alienate all of the NBA fans who are playing it because they want to play basketball. So that might be kind of tricky. So the students actually came up with the solution of doing something like, okay, let's have it be like NBA 2K24. Let's have it have its like normal franchise and regular gameplay modes. But then let's have like a mode in NBA that's like not just normal basketball, right? Where it leans into the video game aspects of what it's doing and it like does some wacky stuff, like brings back the turbo meter from NBA Jam, or allows you to do like crazy moves, or like lets you like check and like knock players around and not like, you know, get fouled out or something, right? And I'm not a big enough of a traditional sports guy to know what you would do with it. But that's kind of what we talked about, was like if sports games really want to take off as esports, they need to lean into being video games more. So, let's see. I see a tentacle monster in chat. Are you asking about those hentai tentacle simulators? Nope. Let's see, Forza would be a good one. Yeah, there actually is a competitive Forza scene. It's pretty small, but Forza is an excellent example of like a racing game that has a decent scene, and they do, you know, obviously like some of the Forza games lean super hard into the realistic sim, and I think it's like the Forza Horizon ones go a little bit more like into the fun part of it. Fun's a bad word, but like the less simmy side of things, right?
Wow.
I did notice that, Dorman. Thank you. I wasn't going to call it out, but it has been that way for about 2 or 3 days. All right, let's check the map here and see what the next prophecy says. In front of a beautiful sunset, hungry botanists were too patient for their own good. In front of a beautiful sunset. Okay, which zone would that be? I don't know, man. Am I gonna have to go blow more money to get another clue from the shop? Because that's pretty cryptic. Let me read it one more time. Where the sun shines bright in the... Oh, that's different. Where the sun shines bright and the mood is light, a little creature's paralyzed by fear. Why is he giving me multiple clues? What if I go back into the other screen? Okay. Where the dead live, that's the catacombs. A foe turned friend left an important item. Okay, we're gonna go to the catacombs next. That's a clue I actually understand. Your donations are... I know my donations are still at 46. I would love for that number to go up tonight, even by like $1. Okay, I think I go... Oh, there's... jukebox in here now. Ah, the jukebox. Silly name, huh? I brought it back from one of my journeys through time. I'm not sure what it's for, but it looks pretty cool. So what happened to the cabinet? Oh, I teleported it somewhere else since we didn't need it anymore. Where's it now? That's something you may or may not find out later. You unlock the jukebox. Play your favorite tune in the shop. Yeah, look at that. And so here's the... I won't play through all these, right? But look at these. Each one of these has 3 tracks. So if I click 1... Here's your old school retro track, your 8-bit one. This one, I believe, is your 16-bit, so like when you go to the future track. What's this? Oh, boss. This is boss music. Who's got that $1? Yeah. Let's go this way. We're going to go to the catacombs next. And I think what they want me to do when it says foe turned friend, I think they're talking about the necromancer at the end. So we are going to... I think this is the... Oh, that's the crag. I can't go to that one yet. Shoot. Okay, what's the best way to get to the catacombs? Oh, crap. So I think what I need to do is I need to go back to Autumn Hills, and I need to actually fall down the pit again. So that's fun. Right back where we were. I forgot I couldn't just teleport straight there. Let's see. So, keep jumping around here, but that's because you guys are saying some awesome things in chat that are reminding me of other topics. Let's see what I have here. I guess, you know, you guys are saying who's got that $1. If anybody's interested in donating to the charity, boom, there's your link again. I'll keep posting that here as we keep going. What I mentioned at the beginning was that for this class, we didn't hit all the different themes that we could have, just because 16 weeks isn't enough time to give them all the attention they deserve. And so I was going to highlight some short examples from the ones we didn't study. So the first one that we did not study was games as fellowship. And so they talk about this as when games are done primarily as a social experience. And so if you think about like video games that exist, like a lot of modern video games, like they fit this. I'll give a couple examples, right? I'll give a really, really good example. Destiny or Destiny 2. If you think about like games as fellowship, or where the game almost plays second nature to the experience of being together with your friends. Like the game is an excuse or a virtual hangout spot with your friends. MMOs like FF14 or WoW are also great examples as games as fellowship. Anybody that like hops online to play Fortnite or Rocket League and they're not playing competitively, they're just playing and talking in a Discord chat with their buddies, and that's kind of like the primary purpose. That's all what we're talking about with kind of games as fellowship. And when it was originally made, I think the idea is that the game is designed in a couple of ways. One, it either has a lot of ongoing things, and so what you're talking about is the game itself. And so you're having conversations and socializing about the game and figuring out the game's secrets or things like that, right? So if we talk about something like Destiny has raids in it. And so when a new raid comes out and you and your buddies are hopping online to puzzle through it and figure out how to beat the raid, that's an example of games as fellowship. Or if you're hanging out in, and forgive me, it's been a long time since I played either of the Destinies. Like if you're hanging out in like the main hub area, right? The social area where all the players go in between missions. And they're like talking and emoting and dancing with each other and showing off their skins and all that crap, right? That's games as fellowship. That's part of the social experience. Or when I would play FF14 and I would show you all the people hanging out in Limsa dancing and playing instruments and that kind of stuff, that's games as fellowship. It's all about the social experience. It could also be a game that's designed in such a way that that the stuff that you do in the game doesn't require all of your mental focus, and so it creates an environment where you can easily talk to other people while you're playing, right? Where it's like, oh, we're just doing like this simple go to X, defeat Y type of quest, so it's not going to be difficult. We're just going to go do it. We'll come back. We'll turn it in. We'll all get the quest completed. But you know, you can talk in the meantime. It doesn't require that mental focus and energy. Going along with that, another one of the themes that we did not discuss is called games as fellowship. Or no, sorry, that's what I just said. Games as expression is what I meant. Games as expression are ones where a lot of times it's where you're creating a character. Chill gameplay, that's a good way to put it, Dorman. The games as fellowship is chill gameplay, where you don't have to think about the game, you can just play the game. But next one on there is games as expression. So, you know, if I'm playing a single or multiplayer game where I am creating my own avatar, that's probably the most direct way that we see this theme present itself. Oh, shoot. And, you know, there's a ton of games that do that. So let me talk to this guy real quick. Hey, thanks for saving me earlier. I've been looking for my colleagues Acro, Claustro, and Pyro. Alright, so that means Acro means one of them's really high up. Claustro means they're in, like, tight confined spaces. And Pyro's going to be in, like, the Hellscape demon area that the last level was. And so we need them to complete the bridge that will allow us to go to the temple. Oh, shoot. Hey, thank you for saying that. I don't need the overlay. I forgot to switch to it when I started playing. Now you can see my health bar. A little bit you can see my health bar. The donation logo is still covering it, but the green diamonds that you can see part of my health bar there. So, but okay, so the easy way for games as expression is like a character creator. It doesn't have to be a multiplayer game, right? It can even be something like Monster Hunter or Skyrim or something like that. And then
Hello there.
The way that games further lean into that is through ways that you can express yourself in the game. So this could be armor sets, this could be emotes. This could be anything like that, right? It's kind of like, and again, MMOs are a great example of this. It's like, oh, I'm going to stand in the middle of the town in my really cool, awesome armor that I had to raid and grind forever to get, and I'm going to show off that because I'm really proud of it, right? Games as expression can also be ones where the characters are set, but there's something about those characters that you identify with or relate to. So, like, if you love playing Overwatch because there's a specific hero or champ in Overwatch that you're like, that person's like me, okay, then that's a game as expression because you're able to express something about yourself through the game. So there's another theme that we did not study. Toxic gameplay. Yeah, I suppose if that's the way you want to express yourself with being toxic while you play. I play Rainbow Six Siege because I'm a toxic asshole. Okay, hold on. Let me see what the clue said again. Nope. Nope. Do I have to leave the room to make him say it again? I said where a foe turned friend. So we were trying to get to where the boss room was. Hey, your words, not mine. Try hard. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And then, so the last theme, I think that's a pit that's gonna straight up kill me. We learned that the first time we played. Shoot. The last theme that we didn't talk about is the one that's a little bit trickier. They call it games as submission or games as pastime. So it means for better or worse, you're going to keep coming back to and playing that game over a long period of time. It's like the thing that you do in your free time. It's like the long-term game. So again, this could be your online persistent games or games as a service or games with constant updates. But for a lot of games like this would be like your mobile games with like your daily login things that, you know, like Clash of Clans or something where it's like, man, I've been playing Clash for 6 years because, you know, I started getting into it and building up a decent sized base, and now I have to keep playing it because if I don't, I'm gonna fall behind. It's kind of stuff like that, right? Or maybe somebody that's a really big fan of Pokemon Go, and so they always are doing the community days and the raids and getting the new Pokemon when they get added to the game, or stuff like that. So that's what we mean by games as submission. WSOP Texas Hold'em. I don't know what I know what Texas Hold'em is, but so if any of you guys, like, I'll give a great example. I don't know if she's still playing it, but for years and years and years, my mom would play Candy Crush every single day, right? Now she genuinely enjoys the puzzles, but it's, you know, it's the games that kind of create that loop or that cycle where you come back every day. That's what we mean by game as pastime. I played an enormous amount of Pokemon Unite when it first came out. It actually came out on my birthday in 2021. And I love the idea of that game because it's like what we call a 10-minute MOBA. And I played it religiously up until our second daughter was born. I literally played it every single day and did all the dailies every single day and was climbing the ranked ladder by myself. And I had a blast with that game. And then I fell off like a rock, and I tried to come back to it a couple times, and they've added a ton of new Pokemon. But I was even pacing pretty well, where I was playing enough that I was almost on top of the release schedule, or I was like, without paying any money, able to get almost every Pokemon as they came out, or at least the ones I wanted. And then I've fallen way off of that. I've heard both the good things and a lot of complaints from people as the game has continued. Like, Pokemon Unite seems to have a really bad habit of releasing an absolutely busted ass Pokemon when they come out, and then they have to dial them way back. And people this isn't just in Pokemon Unite. This is in a lot of games where they do like hero releases like that. Some games do it right and they get them balanced right off the bat, right? I think of something like Super Smash Brothers when they kept releasing fighters. Like, most of those fighters were pretty finely tuned before they ever got into our hands. But a lot of games, Pokemon Unite does this. Other MOBAs like League sometimes do this. They release the hero busted as hell and really good, and that encourages people to spend the time or the money to buy and play as that character, and then they dial them back because they're too strong. And that's a problem that I've heard with Pokemon Unite as it works right now, is that there's some Pokemon, especially the new ones that come out, that are just crazy strong. And I've also heard that the game's gotten very grindy and pay-to-winny. Again, and this is all speculation, so you know, I don't want to like totally crap on the game because I absolutely adored it. I actually used to watch a couple content creators like when the game first came out as they were first getting into the scene, and I followed every bit of news with that game, and I was like, this is going to be the next game that I get good at and have a lot of fun with, and then it just didn't happen. I also didn't have a lot of people that wanted to play it with me, and that's a game that's 10 times better with a team than by yourself. Uh-oh. But yeah, Pokemon Unite is a perfect example of as a game as pastime, because they constantly have seasonal events, they constantly have new Pokemon coming out, you're constantly trying to rank up or progress and get like currency, and they've added all sorts of different items and badges to the game, and you're trying to grind those out, right? And so a game as a pastime are games that are trying to design mechanics that'll keep you coming back over and over and over again and keep playing their game rather than going and playing something else. Even if you're logging in and playing 1 to 3 matches a day to get your dailies done, like that's what we're talking about, the game with the daily quests. Do I need to go through the loop here? We'll try it. I don't know if I needed to or not. And again, that's a very brief overview, like a very little introduction to the ones that we didn't study. So what I did in class with every theme that we came across is I would spend some like 1 or 2 class periods where we introduced the theme, and then I would give examples of that theme in action by picking a specific game or 2 games to talk about. And I based that off of a book that we were reading in class where they use games as examples. So students would be assigned a reading about a specific game where they kind of made an argument for how this game was doing something right. And then I would use that one as my model in class, and then I would assign a different game or a couple of different games they could pick from when they actually went to put it in practice. And so I think I'm going to refine that process moving forward. There's a couple of things that I'm going to change. But overall, I don't think it worked out too poorly. And the other cool thing is, as time goes on, I can constantly find and update which games we're using to study from. Because, like, even the students are like, hey, can I play this game instead? I think it would fit the theme really well. And I'm like, yeah, you can. That's perfect. Why didn't I think of that one? So that kind of stuff. Let's see. Another thing kind of under the hood with that class is I use as a basis what's considered an outdated model for game design. Back in like the early to mid 2000s, I think it was about 2004-ish, there was this model that was developed called the MDA framework, which stands for Mechanics, Design, Aesthetics. And it was a way to formalize the conversation around game development and how companies and people make games. And then a number of years later, there was a follow-up to that model that was released called DDE, which stands for Design Dynamics Experiences. And so I taught both of those frameworks at the beginning of the semester, so students kind of had a academic understanding of how games might be designed or created. But then when I was trying to pick themes and talk about games in class, I went back and I used that. I went back and used the MDA framework. So even though that one's like the older, outdated model, they call them aesthetics, but the themes they use, like sensation and challenge and those things, made it really natural to create themes and talk about them in class. Now, in the way I understand it with modern game design is some developers still Some developers will still like use those concepts in their designs documents, right? They might be like, we are going to make a game that's all about challenge. How do we create a game that does challenge right? But a lot of times they'll focus on something different now. They'll focus on an element of design instead, but they're like, what's our main focus? It could be like, we have this really cool concept for a gameplay mechanic. We're going to make a game that's built all around double jumps. That's it. It's just double jumping, right? And so we're going to come up with what kind of platforming and puzzles and cool things can I do with double jumping. But still, they're going to fixate on one or two things like challenge or this double jumping mechanic, or like, you know, when grapple hooks first became a thing in games, people were like, how can we make a game around using grapple hooks, right? So they fixate on one or two things and then they build their whole game around it. It can also be like a story or a character-based thing, right? So sometimes you see games that are very narrative-focused, and so they're like, we're gonna make a game, that's all about grief and loss, right? About how people process going through loss and grief. And so you've seen some really powerful games that are all about like a main character, like who lost a loved one or something like that, because it's usually something that the developer experienced in real life, and they're trying to process it through a game, right? So they may not use challenge, they may not use fellowship, they may not use sensation as their themes. It may be tied around a central idea of some kind, but using those 8 as a model in class worked at least fairly well. All right, let's open this door and see what's going on, because I think this is where we'll get the next music note. Well, something. Ruxton's final resting place. Looks like there's a note addressed to the messenger. Dear messenger, if you're reading this, it means what my research indicated is true, and you traveled 500 years into the future. I meant it when I said I was done being evil. I even planned for my relics to come to your aid. First is my amulet, yours to keep and remember me by. I also left my staff at the top of Glacial Peak. It will answer to you as long as you carry my amulet. Also, I did some digging around the catacombs, and I believe I found a secret entrance to a new area you should explore, though it was very dark. Look for the secret passage in the room with 2 bats and a moving platform. Best of luck to you on your quest, Ruxton. All right. Do we go... Give me a second. Do we go find the secret room, or do we go get the staff? What do you guys think? He said we could go find a secret room that will lead to a new area, or we could go to the top of the ice mountain and grab the staff. I thought that this would lead us to... I want to see what the thing was. Change the clue. He said something about being down in the catacombs and that a foe turned friend would have something for us. Maybe that's what they were talking about. See if I go back here and see what happens. Is he still here? No, he's not here. Yeah, this is going to take us to the 3rd zone. Well, since we're already here, we'll probably try to find that secret room, but if we get stuck trying to look for it, then we'll go straight to getting the staff. And I think what I'm going to do here is, let's see, are there any upgrades I actually need? Whoa. HP +1 and potions now fully heal. Get another Kai charge, and shurikens will pierce 2 targets. Attack boost. By mastering patience and focus, you can wait to passively charge your next attack, making it deal triple damage. Adds a counter to the world map for the amount of power seals left in each area. Marks the location of all power seals on the map. That's fine, but we don't need those. Time sense. Adds a blue glow to rooms on the maps where you can shift between the past and the future. And this reduces our damage. I don't know if we need to worry about any of these upgrades. We're not going to worry about the power seals, so I'm not even going to bother with those. That might be helpful, so I'll snag this one, and then we'll get a hint. Where the sun shines bright and the mood is light, a little creature is paralyzed by fear. You believe this guy? For 300 time shards, I can use an orb to point it to your map. Alright, so it's in Bamboo Creek. So I go like down from the portal room and to the right. Okay. And Bamboo Creek's the 3rd stage, so we'll just keep going to the right, I guess. That's what we'll do. We're not going to worry about the secret room in the catacombs. We're not going to go get the staff yet. We're going to go get the next music note because it's close by. This song's so good. I love this one. All right, let's see. Oh, the next one's sparkling because you can change time there. Okay, that's what's going on. All right, we're just gonna keep going this way for a bit. Oh, this is a question I wanted to ask people in my chat. It's not related to games at all. I had it written for the last stream, and then it didn't really make sense in the last stream. With it being the holiday season, what is the worst holiday movie you have ever seen in your life? Like, just bad holiday movie. Because every year, there's always studios that cash in. They do it for Halloween, for horror movies. They do it for crappy holiday movies at Christmas time. There's always just awfully bad holiday movies that come out. And like, it's easy to dunk on like the made-for-TV Hallmark specials. I just saw a thing yesterday that was talking about how all those movies are the same. It was like literally a meme that showed all the like promotional posters for these movies, and like they were all a couple that was standing on the front, and every single picture was the two of them like standing next to each other, like arm around the other one or hand on their chest or hugging or something. And one of them would be in green and one of them would be in red, and it would have some stupid name about like Christmas and love and stuff like that. And they were like, you know, so those are easy to crap on, but like, I mean, let's be a little bit creative here. What is a holiday movie that you've seen that was just awful? Doesn't have to be a Christmas movie, but I'm trying to think, and I should have come prepared with my own answer here. One that I'll mention because it actually came up at the end of my stream the other day when I went and rated Aggie. Santa Claus 3. Woof. Okay, I watched it and enjoyed the first Santa Claus. That was the like 90s Tim Allen Christmas movie. And that wasn't too bad. And then I watched 2. 2 was the one where they make like the fake toy Santa Claus and he turns out to be evil. That one wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. But the third movie features Jack Frost, and it's oh my gosh, that movie is just trash. Let's see. Loch Ness Monster has donated to Tiltify $3. The Loch Ness Monster donated $3.50 to the cause. Whoever did that's fantastic. Thank you so much for the donation. Loch Ness Monster donated $3.50 to charity. That's a South Park reference if you are not aware. Thank you so much for donating. Again, every little bit helps. That's awesome. I think that brings us to $49.50, so we're just about halfway to that goal. All right, let me see how I get to the next screen. Might need to change the time and go back in time to do it. $3.50. So the Loch Ness Monster finally found his $3.50, and the whole reason he needed it was to donate to a charity. Loch Ness Monster's not so bad after all. I need to get up there. Can I do anything down here? No. Is there a room nearby where I can go back in the past? There is. If we go back a couple rooms, I can do that. Although, nope, can't go up there. Yeah, I think that's the play here, is we gotta go back in time. Is it this room? Nope, next room. Let's see if this works. What I like is when you go between past and present, or present future, I guess. Future past, whatever you want to call it. It's not just that the visuals change, the gameplay, the actual setup of the stages will sometimes change a little bit. Again, the shtick when we hit $100 is not only am I going to play like some crappy like Flash Christmas games or stuff like that, I'm also going to like try to analyze and break them down like I would the games that we do in game studies class. So it might be kind of fun. Let's see. Oh, what else can I talk about? Again, be thinking of your crappy holiday movies. I want to hear them. Or you can name one that's like so bad that it's good, like one that's a bad movie, but you had fun watching it anyway. I'm going the wrong way. Damn. I remembered like the first half of the game I liked a lot more than the second half. I generally struggle with Metroidvania type games. Playing it on stream when I'm trying to talk isn't helping. And I usually resorted to looking at a guide for the prophecy hints to be like, okay, where's he telling me to go? Okay, he wants me to go this way. But I don't want to do that on stream. Another really bad holiday movie, and this is another classic answer, so I'm not being very original here, and it's another Tim Allen movie, Christmas with the Cranks. That movie sucked. I need to get down. Let's go that way. All of them. I don't know, there's some good holiday movies, like, I mean, like, there's the Christmas classics, right? You know, like, every year like Christmas Vacation. You're gonna tell me Christmas Vacation's a crappy holiday movie? I'll fight you, CJ. Christmas Vacation is timeless. I mean, there's probably some things that haven't aged well, but that movie's still funny. I love watching that every year. Ooh, I got a really good example of a bad Christmas movie. Give me a second, let me get through this part. It's become a kind of a tradition in our household to watch it every year because it's bad. And it's not like egregiously bad, but like it's a little rough. Let me get through this part first. I want to at least make sure that I'm on the right track. I think I am. Yep. Elf? No way. I mean, I can definitely see why people don't like Elf. When I was a kid, I did not care for it. I never really gave it a chance when it came out. It seemed kind of annoying to me. When I started dating my wife, one Christmas she had me watch the movie and I gave it an honest shot, and I really enjoyed it for the most part. We actually just got done watching it again while we were wrapping Christmas presents last weekend. So I can see why somebody wouldn't like Elf, but I really enjoy Elf. It's like a lot of Will Ferrell movies from that era. It's very quotable. You know, like, hey buddy, hope you find your dad, and stuff like that. I mean, I can't dunk on Elf too hard. The one I was gonna talk about, Elf's a good one. Yeah. One of the ones I was gonna say was, so this was a movie that came out, probably late 90s, early 2000s. I remember watching it as a kid with my grandma Betty, and really enjoying it as a kid. But then I ended up getting it as a white elephant gift as an adult, and the movie has not aged well in my opinion. It's a movie called I think it's called Jack Frost, and it's a live action movie starring Jack Keaton and some kid. I can't remember what the kid actor's name was. But and this isn't a spoiler because it happens right at the beginning of the movie. But right at the beginning of the movie, um, Michael Keaton is like the dad of the family, and he's also a musician. And he goes on the road for a Christmas concert, and the weather's bad, and the car crashes, and his dad dies. Okay, and so uh, the kid is obviously sad. He's grieving. He misses his dad, and he makes a wish that he could see him again. And it makes a snowman come to life, and that snowman is his dad. Right? So it's not even a terrible premise for like the spirit of Christmas type movie. Oh shoot! I think I needed to go in there. Oh damn it! I did. I needed to be in the. I needed to be in the freaking pass to have that wall be open. Hopefully, I can climb back up. Um, And so the premise of the movie's not bad, but like it's really, really corny. Lots of terrible puns. It just did not age really well at all. And so it's not like egregiously bad. It's not like cash grabby bad. It's got like some bad early CG in it and some cringy, corny jokes in it and stuff. But Laura and I will watch that one every single year now, just to kind of laugh and have fun with it. We'll either like play a board game while it's on, or wrap presents, or have an adult beverage in hand, because that's the only way to enjoy that kind of movie. But that's probably like my best example. That's again not, oh shoot, it's not like totally bad, but yeah. Doesn't Adam Sandler have an animated Christmas movie? He has an animated Hanukkah movie. So there was an Adam Sandler movie that came out in, I think it was 2001, called Eight Crazy Nights. That movie, I would agree, is again, it's an example of a bad movie. But I still have a really juvenile sense of humor, and I actually really enjoy that movie. But I would agree with you, it's a bad movie. I think the animation in that movie actually still looks really good today. It really holds up. But Eight Crazy Nights, again, has some things that have really not aged well, but it's got some stuff that's just really genuinely funny. So I like that one. We actually own that one. I got it as a not a kid, as a teenager. I got it in a stocking as a DVD one year, and I still have it. So that'll be another one that we throw on in the background while we're doing stuff. It's not kind of the one where you sit down and pay attention to it, but... Alright, sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I think I need to do this. And then I need to do this. And then I think we do that. And we gotta go backwards and do it again. That sucks. Okay. Whoop! There we go. There we go. Alright, now... do I go up? Or do I go... I think I have to go up. I do like how they have these portals that flip between past and present, and they use that as like a puzzle-solving mechanic. I think that's cool. I'm trying to remember some of the jokes from that movie. Because I remember when I think I saw that movie even in theaters with some of my friends way back in the day, Eight Crazy Nights. And I remember it being a movie where the first time I saw it, I just, again, my middle school brain laughed my ass off. But that's another great example of and I would call that like a crappy holiday movie. But one worth watching, right? Like if you're gonna watch a bad holiday movie, it needs to be like so bad it's good. Or like have redeeming qualities to it, not just be straight up bad. I think that was a good example of that. Claustro, I presume. Hey, that's such a cool sword. How did you end up trapped in here? Oh, the irony, right? It's a very embarrassing tale. I'd rather get back to my workstation. Thanks for snapping me out of it. Can I go this way? Also, the whole reason I went this way was because I was told, or shown on the map, that this is where the next music note was. Or wait, no. I think the clue did tell me that we'd find the friend down here. So we've now done the thing we needed to come and do. Again, if you didn't hear it before, when you're underwater, the music gets all muffled like you're underwater and can't hear it clearly. It's cool. And when I jump, now it's clear. So another great example of or reiterating a great example of the design of this game in terms of music and sound. Okay, let's see. What does the next one say? In front of a beautiful sunset, hungry botanists were too patient for their own good. To me, a beautiful sunset makes me think of Autumn Hills, but Autumn Hills it was nighttime when we were in Autumn Hills. We can't go to Forlorn Temple yet. Bamboo Creek's not sunset. Howling Grotto. Howling Grotto is underground, so we wouldn't know if it's sunset. Quill Shroom. Maybe Searing Crags is sunset? And I do remember there was a hint when you beat the Cyclopses about like they were waiting on like a seed to grow that would take forever to grow. So if we go back to the place where we fought the Cyclopses, now that might lead to something. We were told that we could go to the top of Glacial Peak again and get the staff. So let me get back to a portal and we'll go somewhere else. Oh shoot, hold on a minute. Watch this. Shortcut. We don't have to go back and do that again. Cool. Oh, we want to go up. No, we want to go up. Up. And I might, since I have plenty of money, I might just get a clue. It was Searing Crags. And it was all the way at the top of the Searing Crags. It was right where I said we needed to go. That's fine. So we'll go back in here. I think I can teleport straight to the Searing Crags. Nope, I can't. Searing Crags is here. What if we go to Glacial Peak? How far into Glacial Peak did it put me? Pretty damn far. Let's climb to the top of the mountain then first and try to get the staff. I think this track is my favorite in the whole game. It's so good.
Do a barrel roll.
You say I'm terrible? I couldn't hear it. Say it louder. There's the staff. Wow, you took your sweet time, didn't you? 500 years. Do you have any idea how cold it is up here? Well, I'll leave you here. The messenger will need you in the future, he said. 15 minutes in and I was already cold and bored. Had I known it would take you centuries to show up, Actually, I'm kind of helpless. How are you supposed to help me? I'm not interested in wielding a necromancer weapon. I don't know. Ruxton got obsessed with the Blue Robes history. Said something about a tower you used to get to the clouds wouldn't be here anymore. So my epic contribution after waiting for centuries in the cold is apparently simply to beam you up and down as you please. The cloud ruins? Yeah, that's sure to come in handy. Can we go now? You really think I'd be sitting here if I could teleport? Only you can activate my magic. For that, you need Ruxton's amulet, which I have. Alright, so that's how... Okay, that was really anticlimactic. That's how you get back to the Cloud Ruins level. But I think we've now activated another portal here. Alright, now we need to get to Searing Crags, and I think the best way to do that is we're going to just go left and make our way down. Oh, do a barrel roll. That's what you said. I thought you said you're terrible. Do a barrel roll. Classic. There's a game I've been playing off stream a little bit. And there's the Metal Gear sound. There's a game I've been playing off stream a little bit, and I honestly was really thinking about playing it on stream because I was having a conversation with Dorman and Kets and a couple other people on a stream a while back where we were trying to figure out games that would be good to play on the channel. And one of them that I had mentioned was kind of like the strategy XCOM type games, because with XCOM specifically, you can actually like customize and name the squad mates after like yourself and your friends and like stream viewers and stuff like that. The one I'm thinking of right here, you don't actually have that customization option. But I've been playing Marvel's Midnight Suns off stream, and that's made by the XCOM team. It's got some cheesy writing, like cheesy 90s comic writing, but the gameplay is a really fun strategy game that is based around like card draw mechanics. And it's been a lot of fun to play. Actually, one of my favorite streamer has been playing it for probably about a week or so now. And I've enjoyed even going back and watching him play through it. So I thought about maybe doing that one on stream. So that may make an appearance. We'll see. The only thing that makes that a bad stream game is between the missions where you go out and fight, there's like this whole section where you're in the Abbey. So if anybody ever played Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's a lot like that, where you go out on a battle and then you come back to the monastery and talk to all the students. It's exactly like that, except you're talking to like the Marvel superheroes and exploring the grounds and all that stuff. But that can drag on a little bit because it just, we're gonna die here. Yep, there it goes. That drags on for a long time, and so I don't know if that would be super fun to watch or not. The fights are exciting enough, and I think some of that storyline stuff's fun because it's kind of like, oh, you came back from a long mission, now you can hang out with a hero of your choice at the end of the day, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go like play video games with Ghost Rider, or I'm gonna go work out with Blade, or I'm gonna go fishing with somebody. And it's like, when you do that, they have like these fun personal conversations, and you develop friendship levels with them, kind of like it's honestly like the social links in Persona. And then those, as you level up with those companions, they actually confer benefits while you're in combat with them, which is cool. So I don't know, I think it has potential to it. It doesn't have the customization thing that I was hoping to do. Can I go to the right, or am I gonna get screwed here? Okay, we've reached an impasse. I'm trying to go back down the mountain. And I don't know how to. I might not be able to go backwards unless I have an idea. What's off to the left? Can I go to the left? Nope, I can't. Shoot. Oh, I know what to do. I'm gonna die again. What the play was there was to let the little spirit head thing go past me and then use it as a platform. I don't know if the game's intending for me to do that, but that's the only thing I can think of. Come here. Oh, I missed it! It's because I'm trying to brute force my way into doing something I don't think I'm supposed to do. And in the Midnight Suns game, the thing that I was actually, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because it's a Marvel game and Marvel has a ton of recognition and money, but there's some like high name voice actors doing voices in that movie or in that game. Like the male lead is voiced by Matt Mercer. The Spider-Man's in the game, and they have Yuri Lowenthal play him, and I think that's the same guy who did him for the Insomniac game. They have they have Steve Blum, classic Steve Blum doing Wolverine, which is really cool. And even some of the ones that I don't know who they are, like they're doing a decent job. Like I really like the guy that does Blades voice, and like Iron Man's in the game, and the guy that's doing like the Tony Stark character, he sounds and quips and kind of talks in the same cadence as like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. So, but not in a way that feels completely ripped off. Like it sounds good. So I mean, there's plenty of stuff about the writing that a lot of people have complained about with that game. We're hosting a watch party in Discord. Yeah, how many of you are watching? Also, even if you're watching together in Discord, if you like lurked in my channel, I get my view count up. Let's see. When you say we're hosting a watch party, is it like you and some esports people, or is it like just you and some of your friends? Doesn't matter, just curious. Uh-oh. Our buddy here's stuck in ice. So you guys that are just joining, guys and gals that are just joining for this supposed watch party, if you haven't seen this game yet, we're playing through it as an example of games of sensation for Intro to Game Studies. But we're just kind of going through the game right now and BSing at this point. If things come up that are relevant to discuss, I will keep mentioning them. But what we're trying to do right now is go backwards through one of the levels to access a different level so we can get the next item we need to progress. And I think we're almost there. Damn bird. Again, one of the things that this game does really well is that if this is an old school NES game and I got hit in midair by a bird like that, or a bat, God forbid, that would be it. Like, I'd get knocked into a pit and die. I would have no control over my character and I'd just fall. This game has a recovery jump, so I don't have to worry about that. 8 of us esports people. Well, awesome. Welcome, esports people. If you guys didn't see Monday's stream, I was going through and talking about esports a lot, and I broke down the championship matches that Amber played, and I roasted her and talked about all the things she did wrong and why she's lucky she won. Just kidding. She did a good job, but I did analyze the gameplay. And I was also BSing about or speculating on some games that could possibly be played for future streams. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna keep going down. We're almost there. I think if I just fall here, it's gonna, yep. Maybe I actually have to activate the rope. There we go. I said yes. I didn't say yes, I said no. So when I get down here, there should be, oh, that's funny. The Cyclopses just stayed there until they died. Any Futurama fans in the audience? The way he's dead with his arms crossed reminds me of Death by Snoo Snoo, if you guys know what I'm talking about. How did they die? Of crushed pelvises. Alright, we got the Power Thistle. Now where does it go? Trying to prevent 2 dumb brothers from waiting to death. Oh! Oh. We have the Thistle. We're gonna go back in time and give it to the brothers so that they don't literally wait themselves to death. But that means I have to get to a room where I can change time, and it looks like there's one below me.
Death by SNU.
Yeah, Death by Snoo Snoo. You get it. That's exactly what that guy did. Or it looks like it. God, that was such a good show. Futurama was fantastic. I didn't have cable when it came back to like Comedy Central and they did all the new episodes. So there's actually a lot of new Futurama episodes that I have not seen, and I know they're in talks of bringing it back again. But I just love the classic episodes. I watched those all the time on Adult Swim back in the day. I used to always watch Futurama and Family Guy all the time. And I made a reference yesterday on campus to Futurama as well. I was talking to Andrew and Amber, and I talked about, we were talking about like people playing in leagues and stuff, and I said, fine, I'll go make my own esports league with blackjack and hookers, and I don't think either one of them got the reference. So then I just sounded inappropriate at work, so that was fun. I never heard anybody accusing Amber of cheating. Where'd you hear that? The league certainly didn't. The only thing that I could recall that would even be close to a conversation like that would be in the middle of the races, the opponent asked me if they could race the same track again, and I said, no, you can't do that. And then we moved on to another one, but that's not cheating. That was, we have 30 seconds to pick the next map, and I'm not going to go fart around in the rulebook to find out whether you can play another track, so pick a different one. Because that was literally the only time we'd encountered that the whole time. Yeah, I mean, if there's been, if that's been a thing, I would hope I would have heard about it by now. And also, we have the footage. We're squeaky clean. We're doing things by the books. You guys know that. So if anybody came at us trying to say we cheated, I'd be ready to fight them. All right. Hey, it's the little guy again. What is up? I have your power thistle. Huh? He's not kidding. So I see. Never mind how you pulled this off, little guy. Throw it in the stew. Thinking what I'm thinking? Oh, this is where it gets serious. It's chugging time. That's an interesting way to eat stew. I'm satiated. I'm content. Shall we test how strong it has made us?
Got him!
That's all I crave. Don't move, little guy. Where did that knock me to? We're in a completely new area of the same map. But this might lead us to the next music note because we couldn't access this area before. Esports people that are watching, how did finals go for you guys and gals? My classes don't have traditional final exams, so my stuff's all done except for people that are finishing up final projects and stuff. I think for the most part everybody did pretty well in my classes, which is good. There's the music note. There's 2 out of like 6. Almost done with mine. I got a few things to turn in. Chemistry was my big one. Gotcha. Is chemistry done now though, or is that still one that's looming? Some of us are studying in the Discord. Dude, I love to see it. That's awesome. I love that you guys help each other out that way and study together and take that time seriously. Mine went well. Good, man. Good. I'm not going to publicly call anything out on stream, but, you know, every week we get grade reports for all the athletes, and we were really pleased to see where the grades were currently standing for the team as a whole. So, yeah. Kudos to you guys. Well, you'll hear more about it in January when you come back. But you guys, as a collective, did really, really well. Unless like you tanked a final here that we haven't seen yet. But we were really pleased with it. So good job. One of our big things is we didn't want the esports program to be a thing of like people that are barely skating by or getting poor grades, and that's definitely not the case for the vast majority of you guys. So thank you for that. And if you got some work to do, keep at it. Some of you have asked me some questions privately about preparing and what to do and that sort of thing. So I, as your coach and as a teacher and professor, certainly appreciate you guys taking it seriously. But enough talking about school. I'm here to play video games, which is awkward when your school is teaching people about video games. Oh, here's a fun little bit of drama. The TR posted the story about the championship. They came and did an interview yesterday, and they did a story on it, and they did a great job. One thing I will note is the paper version of the story, the original version of the story, accidentally had some misprinted stuff. The guy who interviewed us yesterday, I think he confused Andrew and I. because the parts in there where they said that like, oh, Coach Rodemeyer said blah blah blah, and Coach Goforth said this, they got it backwards. The quotes in the printed article, everything that it said I said were things Andrew said, and everything that it said Andrew said were things that I said. So if you're reading, there you go. I did contact them, and they fixed the online article. So if you want to read it, I can link it to you guys in the chat. They did a really nice job talking about it. On Facebook, when they shared it through their account, yeah, that was whack. Again, they didn't mean to. It was a new reporter. I thought he did a fantastic job writing the story, but he hadn't met Andrew and I before yesterday, and I think he just thought I was Andrew and that Andrew was Nate. I don't know. That's not a big deal, because Andrew and I work pretty well as a team, and we have slightly different approaches and things. Which, I mean, when you look at the comments in the article, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's like if you know that they were like the comments were backwards, and you'd be like, oh, it would make more sense for Nate to say that and Andrew to say that, and that's the only the point I'm making. It's not like I or Andrew said something the other one really disagreed with, and it's now attributed to us. It's not like that at all. But the reason I said there was drama, okay, Times Republican posted that article to their Facebook feed today, right? And most of the comments and things are really, really positive. Congratulations, this is awesome, incredible, national title, whoa. One of the comments is from some old freaking boomer. Don't go after him. Don't say his name on stream, any of that stuff. But it's from some old boomer that was like, this isn't a sport. And I just commented and said, I think the young lady who was involved in this story would heavily disagree with you on that. And I'd love to talk to you anytime about the thing that the esports athletes do that mirror what the other athletics are doing and show you that it is a sport. And again, I can see the argument for it not being a sport because of the physical activity part, but they were like disparaging the whole thing. So I could try to kill them with kindness and well, actually them, and they didn't respond. Oh, I know what I need to do. But other than that, the reception's been very, very positive. Yeah, please don't. Oh, that was cool. I think I'm just gonna fall all the way then. Do we go left or do we go right? We always go left first. Where's the link? Ask him what sport he's playing currently. Yeah. Here, I will. Oh, there's the portal. I'll link the Times Republican article itself. I won't link the Facebook post. If you guys want to go find it, you can. But let me go grab it real quick. And again, the Times Republican article, the online one, is look, it's on the front page of the website. That's cool. The online article is correct. So they fixed the quote attribution. So the things that it says I said in here are what I said. The things it says Andrew said are the things Andrew said. But there's the link if you haven't seen the story yet. Pretty cool. Sorry, I'm making sure. Yeah, they did fix it. Because like the quote from me says like that I said it was her own drive and determination, and then I said like the credit's all on her shoulders. She put it in 100% of the work. She already knew what she needed to do, and I just kind of helped steer her towards resources and kind of figuring out what to do. And then Andrew had a quote about like checking the brackets and saying that like once you're a national champion, you can't have that taken away from you. But again, on the printed version, it says that I said that, and that was definitely like one of the first things Andrew said when Amber won. So anyway, the online article's all squared away and good. And if you guys haven't heard, this is cool. Yeah, back when they first posted esports in the Times Republican, one of the comments was, will their mom be bringing them pizza rolls too or something? Yeah, and I love how the comment was like, yeah, I'll absolutely bring them pizza rolls. And it was making fun of the, I mean, it was in general making fun of the gamer stereotype. But I think they were trying to reference the freaking South Park article, or the South Park episode where they're playing WoW. And I think someone even posted a gif of like Cartman saying "Mom" or something like that. But yeah. The one thing that I want to, and people have heard me say this a couple times. Yeah, it was Jocks versus Nerds bullcrap. It was somebody. Here's what I'll say. Like in general, the community's been very positive and supportive of what we're doing. We've had people that are talking about this providing a space for students that haven't had one before. A lot of them, even if they don't understand what we're doing, recognize that we're not just getting around and like playing games. And so it's been really positive in general. So I don't want to like act like it hasn't been. Didn't Dr. Disrespect play minor league baseball? Probably. I mean, dude's freaking jacked. And he seems like he would have had like a sports background. Honestly, like now that I'm involved in like esports and coaching, I wish that I had a sports background. I never cared for sports when I was a kid. But there's a lot of value in taking lessons from traditional sports and applying them to esports. What I was gonna say in terms of like the gamer stereotype and that sort of thing, one of the things that I've really, heyo, let's see, whoa, hey, what is going on? I think we just got raided. Oh my gosh. Welcome everybody to the channel. I'm gonna pause this for a second. Oh boy, thank you for the follows. Thank you for being here. So, I am, wow. The Poop Coven and Tiltify are here to clause your cause. Holy crap. Where's our goal sit at now? My goal is $100. I'll look at that in a second. Welcome to the channel. My name is Professor Roadblock, and nice donation goal. Yeah, I gotta look at that in a second. Let me look. All right, I'll look right now. I'll look. Oh my, $418? Are you serious? Thank you so much. The charity that I chose to raise money for in the month of December is Mental Health America. If you go to the donation page, it talks about why I chose them. But I think, you know, all of us living in a oh my, 760, oh my goodness. I can't even like plug the charity because you guys keep donating money to it. Thank you so much. Poop Coven and Poop Witch, thank you. But the reason I chose Mental Health America is mental health is such an important topic for everybody. The holidays especially can be really, really rough for people, you know, whether it's intolerant family members or just, you know, anything that comes up, people that have dealt with loss of loved ones and the way that that spikes up during family time and the memories of those people and stuff like that. But, you know, like it's just such an important thing. And it's so good that a lot of the stigma surrounding mental health is starting to fade as more people are open about talking and seeking therapy and help and all of those kinds of things. But, you know, I thought donating to a mental health cause during the month of December when it's really a thing would be important. Guys, my fundraiser's at over $1,000 now. I had a goal for 100 that I honestly didn't know if we were gonna hit. And I didn't have any goals set for past 100, so I'm gonna have to come up with something really special for us to do now because, like, we just 10 times our goal. I got another donation from Santa Moose. Thank you so much. I don't know what. Welcome to the channel, I guess is what I'll say. I mean, the chat's going so fast that I can't even like catch up on any of this. Hype train, all this wonderful stuff. Thank you so much. I guess for those of you guys that are new to the channel, I'll kind of explain what I do. If you look at the stuff on my Twitch about me, I have some information down there too. And oh my gosh, look at all these subs they got gifted. You guys have also smashed my sub goal. No way. I had a goal of getting to 10 subs as my first sub goal, and you guys have just completely blown that out of the water too. No way. Okay. Okay, hold on. I gotta stop for a second because I gotta talk about the purpose of my channel. Okay, so if you look at the about section, I am a community college professor, and I'm an esports coach, and I teach a whole bunch of courses on esports management. So I actually teach students who want to get into esports in a professional setting, not as like pro gamers, but like coaches and broadcasters and marketers and event operations and all that stuff. And it's a brand new program that we just started this year. And so the reason I got into streaming was I wanted to use Twitch and live streams as a way to kind of reinforce concepts that I teach in my classes. So one of the classes that I teach is actually not esports related. It's called Intro to Game Studies. And so that's where we kind of, well, we study video games and how they're designed, and we use themes to do that. And so I've been playing this fantastic game of The Messenger as an example of one of those themes. And I won't get into all that now. If you guys think that sounds fun, stick around, come back for future streams. I stream every Monday and Wednesday. We always have lots of fun in here. But that's kind of why this channel got started. Monday night when I streamed, I actually broke down one of our matches that we played, and kind of analyzed the gameplay of one of our players, and that was a ton of fun. So we kind of did like a play-by-play of the live stream, and I talked about what it was like to coach during the season and all of that stuff. The really cool thing about that, and I'll just share this with everybody that's here, our college just started esports this fall, and we're getting ready to onboard and play a bunch of games in the spring and next year. But this fall, we competed in 2 games. We competed in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and we completed in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And we actually, for the league that we play in, one of our students just won the national championship for Mario Kart 8 in our first season as a team, which is like absolutely mind-blowing. And so like this has already been a wonderful week. And so to have this happen on top of that is just like, I don't even know what to say. But if you guys are interested in learning about like that aspect, like I'm glad to talk about any of that. I'm going to keep things paused and I can answer questions and stuff. Or if you want to go watch that video, it's on Twitch, and then I also put the recordings on YouTube. But I basically looked at the semifinals and finals match that student played. Her name, or I won't say her name on stream, but she did a phenomenal job. She's incredible. But I broke down her gameplay and how she did and how it was to coach that, and I shared it with my colleagues and people in the community, and it's been a lot of fun. And so that's kind of where my channel started from, is like reinforcing concepts that I teach in class, and also like learning how Twitch functions and operates, so that when I get to students who want to get into streaming or do some of that stuff, then I know how Streamlabs works, and I know how all of this stuff works. And oh my gosh, this is just let me see if I can scroll down, man, or scroll back up. I don't even know what to say. Just lots of love in the chat, and I am so humbled by it. We love professors. That's awesome. I'm gonna learn so much. Yeah, please do. Like, I have so much fun doing this and getting to kind of share that side with it, and I'm hoping that it's kind of like my unique contribution that I can give to the world. Thanks for rating. He's been having a rough. You got claws by the coven. I did get claws by the coven. Time for a new claws. Thank you so much, Poop Witch and the Coven, for coming in and rating. What you guys are doing is awesome. Thank you so much to you and to Tiltify, and for everybody who is going around and doing this. This is so awesome. If you guys came around and want to stick around, I'm glad to keep answering questions about what I do, and I'll also start by going back, and I will definitely follow. I'm gonna write that down. You guys are gonna make me realize like a lot of the settings that I had were good for a really small stream, but if I have a bunch of people that are here, it's gonna blow up, and I'm gonna have to change stuff. Thank you so much for the raid and for hanging out and for just the amazing generosity that you guys have shown. So I definitely have to come up with a good thing to do now that we've crushed the goal by 10 times the amount. But I'm gonna stick around and play. My stream doesn't end for about another, what time is it? 20 minutes. So I can give you guys kind of the rough overview of like why I chose this game and kind of show you how my channel works, right? So if you're here sticking around, that's fine. If you have questions and want to know more about our esports program or kind of what my job is, I'm happy to talk about that stuff too. But thank you so much. Okay. So thank you for all the follows. I can't even shout out all of the follows. I can't even remember us when you're famous. I don't know about that, but that is just incredible. Thank you for all the gifted subs. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for the donations to the charity. It's incredible to see this kind of generosity and support and people coming together. during the holidays, which can be so great for so many people, but can also be, can be really rough. Oh my gosh, it just keeps going. Like that Fallout sound is just going to be playing until the end of the stream, and you guys are just going to have to deal with it, right? It's a good problem to have. So let me bring the game back up. So I gotta refocus. All right. So for intro to game studies, this is the first time I've ever taught it. I'll probably refine it as I go, but I've been teaching through themes, and I got those themes from an old framework that was used in game design called MDA. I won't go into all the details of that. I won't go into bore you guys on the details, but they organized game design into 8 different aesthetics, or themes is what term I usually use, but the proper term is aesthetic. And so The Messenger is a great example of a game as sensation. Other games that fill this really well would be like Shovel Knight, rhythm games like DDR, or Guitar Hero, or Stepmania, or you name it. Because games of sensation, they're all about designing to be appealing to your 5 senses, so sight, touch, sound, etc. Now, obviously, video games can't do smell yet, and there's some things that they're limited on. So a lot of times when video games are being games as sensation, they're really focusing on things like your sight and sound and touch through things like rumble, haptics, and other interfaces, right? And so the reason The Messenger works really well, and I've kind of already spoiled the surprise if you guys haven't ever played it before. But let me just show you what I'm talking about, okay? One of the things that sensation does is it can rely on your sense of nostalgia. And so The Messenger, even though it doesn't look like it, is actually inspired by retro games, right? It looks like Ninja Gaiden right now, doesn't it? NES Ninja Gaiden, if you've ever played it. And so games of sensation often rely on your sense of nostalgia, or the way that games used to look, right? Or what you remember games looking like. And that's the key phrase here. Shovel Knight does this, The Messenger does this, lots of modern indies do this. They say, how do people remember their NES and Super Nintendo games and their Genesis games looking? Okay, well, let's go and make them look the way we remember them, and let's make the gameplay play like they remember them while changing the frustrating bits. So this game does that, right? It looks like an NES game, but it's actually got way more colors and sprites on screen than an NES could handle. And same thing with the music. Now, here's something cool. There's a time travel mechanic in this game. And so when you go into the future, the music and the... Oh, dude! 3 more followers until Stream Raiders? Dude, yes! I wanted to play Stream Raiders as a side thing while I'm streaming, but I need 100 followers to get there. So I went from 70 followers tonight up to 100 here, or darn near. That's incredible. Oh, let's go. But this game has a mechanic where you go back and forth through time. And so when I go through this little portal here, now the game looks like a 16-bit era game, and it's really subtle. I'll do it again. Listen to the music change. So here's the 8-bit track. Probably gonna not be able to hear it over the notification sounds. There's the 8-bit track. And now, here's the 16-bit track. Now again, it's cheating because it's actually using, in both cases, it's using more technology, more sound channels than the original hardware could handle. But the reason this is such a good example of sensation is the audio and the visuals change to reflect you going forward in time. So again, the first half of the game is all this 8-bit retro look that you're seeing here. And then there's a story moment that happens where you get flung 500 years into the future, and the game looks and sounds like this. So they use the graphics and the changing audio and sound to represent the narrative element of going into the future. And so it deals with time travel and in a really fun way, in a way that only a game could do, right? So it's so cool. The only equivalent I could think of is if a movie started in black and white and then went forward and turned color, but it's not even close to being the same sort of thing. And then again, this game also plays like an old game, but as you would remember it. So I'm going to give a great example, all right? I'm intentionally going to take a hit here. Let me find a good spot to do it. Those are all unintentional hits. If you came here expecting grade A gameplay, you ain't gonna find it. But we have fun in here. Let me find a spot with the pit. I'm gonna try to get this mushroom to shoot at me. Okay, let's see if it'll work. Whoops. Well, I mean, that'll work. See if it'll do it again. Oh, you know, if I hit them, I'm gonna die. Let me see if I can get some health first. Whoop. We may just end up dying. Actually, I can... Hold on. I'm going to die because I'll show you this. Okay? So another way that this game does nostalgia and sensation, right, is there's no life system. It's a more modern game, so it takes from the likes of things like Dark Souls, or even something... Now, this came out, I think, before Mario Odyssey? No, it didn't. Mario Odyssey came out first. But something like Dark Souls or even Mario Odyssey, where I have unlimited lives, but there's some sort of other punishment for dying. So what'll happen is this little guy, this demon named Corbel, will follow me around, and he will eat up the currency or these time shards that I'm collecting until he's had his fill. And so it's kind of like dropping souls in Dark Souls or losing coins in Mario Odyssey. But this also means that I don't get super punished for a platforming mistake or dying on spikes or whatever, right? I get set a couple rooms back, and then I can just do it all again, right? And so I'm encouraged to experiment and try new things and do difficult rooms. And in an old school game, like I might have 3 lives and then a game over, and then maybe a limited number of continues, and then I have to start the whole game over again, right? Nobody remembers that, or nobody likes that about old school Ninja Gaiden. So instead of me having to deal with those old frustrating things, it takes that old school nostalgic game design and brings it into modern times. And so the Messenger does this really well in pretty much every single aspect. So there's a and that was really poor. Like, I'm so flustered with everybody that came in that I didn't do a good job of explaining that. But like, that's kind of what I do on this channel, right? Is I'll pick a game that's a good example, and I'll talk about how it's a good example. Before this, I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, and you'll notice my sub goal was to change my race in Final Fantasy XIV, so that'll be what we do now. But that was done for a different class called Esports and Society, where students were required to do a culture study of an online gaming community and then identify a problem in that gaming community. So, you know, are there any elements of toxic behavior or things like that that they have identified in an online game like Final Fantasy XIV or like Fortnite or Valorant or something, right? And they're identifying that problem through their gameplay and then presenting possible challenges or solutions for fixing it. Because as people that will have careers in esports, they need to be aware of the nature of those online gaming communities and how they can be proactive in trying to address some of those behaviors or concerns that they might encounter with the games and communities they're involved in, right? That was the whole point of that project. So we do all sorts of fun stuff like that. That's kind of the really short version of what we do here. I normally end here at 11, which is in about 10 minutes my time. But if people want to hang around for a bit longer, I definitely don't want to cut things short. I do have work in the morning, and it's finals week on campus, so I can't stay up too terribly late. But man, I don't even really want to play the game anymore. I just want to like talk to people and show off what's going on, and I completely lost focus of what I was supposed to be doing. Where the wind chills the bones, an old enemy has been waiting against its will. Yeah, where the wind chills the bones, I think would be Glacial Peak. Oh yeah, that's the staff that we talked to. Hello. Man. So, okay. Let me write a note here, because all of you guys that are subbed to the channel, again, my sub goal was 10 subs. And when I hit that, the chat gets to choose my new race in Final Fantasy XIV. And that means we're going to be hopping back into Eorzea a little bit. I wasn't sure where I was going to leave Final Fantasy XIV at, because we kind of used it for what we needed to, but we can still play it for fun, certainly. And so I don't want to leave that goal in the dust. And then maybe I'll come up with something else, too. I definitely have to prepare for my crappy holiday game stream, because that was the goal of hitting $100, was that I would do a bonus stream with terrible Christmas and other holiday themed games and then try to analyze them the same way I do these games. And I got to come up with something a lot bigger than that now because I really didn't think we'd break 100, to be honest. So to break 1,000 is just something else, and it means a lot, right? Like my channel has been going since October. It's pretty small. I didn't do it to gain like a giant following. I just did it to kind of have fun and reinforce the stuff that I do for my job, and get another way to connect and play video games with people. And so I have a dedicated but small fan base that always checks out and hangs out with me on Monday and Wednesdays. A lot of my students and student athletes and friends in the community and high school buddies and stuff like that. But things have been small, and that's fine, right? That's great. So, but to hit $1,000 is just nuts. So I promise I will come back to the draw. I'll go back to the drawing board and I'll come up with something good. If any of you guys have ideas for what I can do, let me know. If any of you guys are new to the channel and you have suggestions for things I can do in terms of my stream and my overlay and how things are set up, I'm happy to do that too, right? I've tried messing with things like shoutouts and sound alerts and getting the chat up there on the screen and messing with overlays. I have my own overlays that I all created. So if I go to like this screen or if I go to this screen, I have some of my own things that I've been doing, but I'm certainly still pretty new to all this. So I would be open to any suggestions or feedback that any of you have. And again, I hope some of you, I know a lot of you will follow and spread your holiday cheer and move on to the next place. But even if, just a couple of you find something valuable in this channel and stick around, welcome. Thank you so much. And even if you do move on and I don't hear from you again, thank you so much for stopping by and for being generous and giving up your time and your money and even your follows and just stuff like that. That's huge. So, yeah, I stream every Monday and Wednesday. I occasionally stream on Saturdays as well. That's not really like this. It's Saturday streams are just fun ones that I do with my buddies. And I sound like a maniac because I have their Discords muted in Streamlabs, and so I'm talking to them, but it sounds like I'm just having a conversation with myself. And we'll play games like Rainbow Six Siege, which is one of the primary games that I coach at MCC, or like Fall Guys, or just like funny multiplayer games. And so you can definitely come around and check that out. That'll be a lot different tone and from what we were doing here tonight. And then we are gonna. I was gonna try and beat the messenger, and I think that's still the goal here. Once we get back on track, but then now we gotta figure out what we're doing with Final Fantasy 14 now that that goal's been met, and figure out what we're gonna do for that holiday game stream. So, Jack Party with Viewers Night win, dude. Jack Party with Viewers Night. I'm down for a Jackbox with Viewers Night for sure. We can do that. The reason I'm going is because like my channel's not necessarily family friendly, but I always try to keep it somewhat PC or PG. That definitely wouldn't, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe that'll be a VOD that goes unpublished. We'll just have fun together. We'll see. I'll write it down. Let's see. What can I do as we wind things down? I guess we'll just keep playing for a little bit, right? So, I need to find a teleporter, which thankfully it looks like there's one right next to me. And I need to go back to the the Glacial Peak. And then I need to go to the top of the mountain, which will be very close to. And I actually need to have the staff take us back up into the clouds because the game's telling me that that's where I need to go next. Those of you guys that just joined and are watching this game, not only is it an incredible game, but the soundtrack is amazing. The soundtrack was done by an artist named Rainbow Dragon Eyes. And if you go look on Spotify, the soundtrack for the entire game is on there. I actually used this music for... I used to use it for working out when I would run all the time, and I haven't done that in a long time, but it's still really good high energy music for working out or getting work done or just hanging out. Let's see. So let's go up to these ruins. Man, let me when we get up here, I want to see how many, like, where's everything at now? Sorry, you're gonna lose the game audio, the wonderful music I was just talking about. You can't hear anymore. Oh my goodness. We jumped to 97 followers and 49 subscribers because of that raid train from Tiltify and Klausmikos. That is just wild. You know, I threw the Klausmikos stuff on there and went through Tiltify because I'd heard of that campaign before, but I honestly didn't in a million years think that a streamer would actually come in and raid my channel and support the charity like that. That's incredible. Time for a new Klausmikos target. Yeah, I have to do that. All these emotes. Dan, you were trying to garner sympathy for me in chat. You've been having a rough time. Things have been going pretty well, dude. Oh, we got a raid from a guy named Nair as well. I didn't notice that. I didn't even shout out Nair's raid. I'm sorry, Nair. I'm gonna go follow Nair and Poop Witch when we're done tonight. And I would encourage you guys to do the same. Return that love a little bit. Is there anybody else that I missed? No, Nair came in and gifted all the subs. He gifted 20 tier 1 subs. Paying forward the gift they got from an anonymous gifter to the community. Dude, that is so awesome. Oh my gosh. And I gotta update the goal too, because like we're at $1,000, but we're gonna keep going too. Maybe we can set like a goal for like 1,100 or 1,200 bucks and see if we can get something going there. I told the Discord I was gonna try to gaslight more subs for you. Of course you did. I think that's all you know how to do is gaslight. All right. Let's like finish off here by playing, like figuring out where we need to go next. Where the curse is strongest, a magic seashell awaits the one who doesn't fear drowning. We're just gonna fiddle around in this stage for a little bit and pay for another hint on the prophecy and find a good stopping point, I think. Because unfortunately, even though I'm like probably gonna have trouble going to sleep now, I do have to get up and work in the morning. Also, we never got to see the Cloud Ruins in 8-bit because when we entered the level, it had switched to 16, so that's kind of cool. There's our, oh shoot, there's our portal. And I'll actually wait on the hint until next time I play, and we'll just pay for it right away when we hop in. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a proper wind down of the stream. And so I'm gonna switch over to my end screen here. So thank you guys so much for watching tonight. You know, all of the normal viewers in the channel. Thank you, Dorman, CJ, all of the esports students that were in there. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really cool. We got to have that raid come in and all that money donated to charity, which is just unbelievable. So I will be back probably on Saturday night. I think I took last Saturday off. I've been taking Saturdays off periodically just because things have been really busy the last couple of weekends. I think I'll be back this Saturday, especially because we'll be kicking off winter break. And then throughout winter break, I'm still going to be streaming on Mondays and Wednesdays, so that's not going to go anywhere. I want to be consistent with that stuff. And so that won't be an issue there. So we'll just get back at it. We'll finish out the messenger. We'll move on to something else. We'll talk about donation incentives and rewards for that and all that jazz. So I gotta go back to the drawing board and figure some stuff out now. It's a really good problem to have. So thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely, you know, take care of yourselves. I try to say that at every stream. It's in the chat there. It goes along with, you know, wanting to raise money and donate it to Mental Health America. But please take care of yourselves. And I will see you guys hopefully on Saturday. You guys can hang out with me while I play some games, more for fun rather than for study. But I appreciate you guys being here, and it means the world to me. And again, thank you so much to all of the streamers that came in and followed, and all the viewers that followed and subbed and donated and all that stuff. So thank you so much. And I will talk to you guys next time.